Good morning! In today's tutorial, we are going to create a cool animation of endlessly jumping text. We are going to having fun setting up geometry nodes and making gum-like material. Let's start. Firstly, we are going to create a single text object on base of which later we are going to construct a text array. We rename cube to text, then add a geometry node and rename it to text gen. Now let's add a string to curve node and connect string size, character spacing and word spacing to input group. Now we can change this parameter in modifiers tab. Let's name our text as text. Text. And make it center aligned. Now we have to fill our text and then extrude. And let's uncheck individual to extrude letters as single elements. Now let's join extruded mesh with the initial mesh. Join. And also let's flip faces of initial geometry. Now we have to realize instances. To convert them to mesh. And now we can merge corresponding vertices to obtain a single mesh per letter. Nice. Now let's add material. And let's also connect it to input group. If you have any questions about what has been done, you can watch my previous video where I explained every single step in details. And finally, I'll rotate these letters. Now our text object is ready, let's animate it. How do you think we're going to make in this jumping animation? Using set position node, we can change position of vertices of our text object. Let's add it. Now we can connect our wave texture to it. Wave texture. Let's zoom in. Let's connect wave texture to offset. And as you see, it is too much scale, so let's change it to 0.15 and now add a math node and change it to multiply and choose maybe 0.2. Wow, we are going to animating our text using phase offset. Now you can see that text is waving, but from the side view it looks like jumping. Now let's synchronize this animation with the scene time. Let's add scene time for it. Scene time, and let's set it to 0 by default. Let's connect frame to phase offset. Now if we press play, our wave texture become animated. And let's rotate it. To control the speed of our animation, we can use map range node that allows us to convert frames into radians. Let's add it. Map range. Let's specify here the number of our frames. I can change it. In order to loop our animation, the difference between minimum and maximum values should be the multiple of 2 pi. So we can leave it 0, and here we can specify tau. Now you can see that the animation is too slow. To make it faster, we can increase the maximum value. But to make it easier, we can add another math node, change it to multiply, and here we can set tau that is equal to 2 pi, and value we can connect to integer, and let's set it 1, and then connect it to max, and now we can increase the speed. This setup helps us keep animation looping easily. We've finished with a single text object, and now we can create a text array. Let's add a new geometry nodes modifier and rename geometry nodes to text array gen. Now we have to add instance on points node, instance on points, and let's connect it to group output. Points we will take from mesh line, connect it to points, and the instances will be our text, single text. Let's connect it to instances. Now we have to change offset. Let's set Z to 0, and to control offset in the modifiers tab, we can connect it to input group, and now we can change offset along y-axis, and you can see how it looks. Oh. Wow. And let's change the width of the letter. Maybe something like this. Yeah. Now let's connect count also to int, and now we can change it in modifiers tab. In order to add objects along x-axis, we can add another instance on points and another mesh line. And let's connect it here, and now it is 0. Let's also connect this offset to input group, and now let's set offset along x-axis. Wow. Now we have a lot of objects. Let's also connect count to input group, and change it to 3. Now let's organize our objects in a better way. Now it's time to add shifting along y-axis. But firstly, let's add camera. I'll set it up as orthographic, so let's reset it and set to 60 and -45. Now let's position it at -5, -5 and 5. And let's switch to orthographic view. Here we can change resolution to these to make vertical camera, and let's also change frame rate to 30. Now let's position our text. To do this, let's add a transform node, transform, and let's connect translation here, and we can move it along y-axis, along x-axis, along y-axis, and let's add more elements, and let's make offset more noticeable. Oh, why? I choose both of them, and maybe it will be better to increase the spacing to make text more readable. Looks good. And finally, we can set up shifting along y-axis. Let's add another transformer node. Let's add combine XYZ node, as we need to move letters only along y-axis. And we also need SynTime node, SynTime, and again we need map range node. And let's connect it. Here we have to specify frames, and now you can see that text is moving slightly. If we increase this parameter, text moves faster. To make translation along y-axis looping, it should be proportional to offset between text elements along y-axis. So we will need these offset. Let's add separate x, y, z, math, where we'll multiply these to these. And also it should be noted that we have to use integer parameters here. Now you can see that the first frame and the last frame are identical. That means that our animation is looping, and increasing this parameter we can make it faster, and decreasing we can make it slower. But here you have to keep in mind that there should be enough text, as if we'll move it maybe something like this, it is obvious that our animation cannot loop. Now let's add plane as a background. Let's make it bigger. Oh, and let's move it. Oh, and also I've forgotten that we have to also add subdivide curve. Now let's switch to render view, and I'll set cycles and choose GPU. Now let's add light, area light. Make it bigger. Something like this, and also make it lighter. Now let's move it and rotate something like this. And now let's set up materials. Let's add a plane material. Let's name it plane material. Plane material. Let's set pink color. Maybe something like this. Oh, and also let's color the light. I'd like to make it maybe this, something like this. Yes, it will be nice. And now let's set up text material. We have material assigned to this object, and let's also set it in the nodes. Let's switch to shade. As base color, I'd like to choose these, and I also want to add a subsurface. It's too much. Maybe something like this. And subsurface color I'd like to set to red. And let's switch off specular. Now let's zoom in, add bevel, change radius to 0.01 and connect to normal. Now you can see that the edge become smoother. Now you can like this video, subscribe my channel, send donation, and also watch my other tutorials. For example, if you want to know how to make this cool text animation, you definitely should watch the previous one. See you next time. Bye bye.